So here's an example of somebody's rough draft. So here I would give them, some would say there's only one memory that stays with you for your entire life. So here she needs to replace you with a person. So she should say, some would say there's always one memory that stays with a person for their entire life. And then here she has her introduction, when she talks about the topic of her paper. She's missing a paper title though. I married my high school sweetheart last year. It was the most terrifying and thrilling day of my life. My dress was beautiful, the food was great, and the music was amazing. It really was the most memorable day of my life. But the most memorable day was also the most stressful and anxiety-inducing day I have ever had to experience. And so here she could add 3 reasons why her day was stressful. Okay, so here she could write in, oops, I forgot. Okay, this is not. So she could write something like, my wedding day was really stressful because. So basically what you write in your thesis statement. So she has the first part of her thesis statement. So she has the most memorable day of her life was her stress-inducing wedding day. And so when we write a thesis statement, we want to summarize the content of the body paragraphs and then put the summary of the content of the body paragraphs into one sentence. And when we summarize the content of our body paragraphs into one paragraph, into one sentence, that's known as a thesis statement, because the thesis statement states the main idea of your paper. So she could say that my wedding day was the most stressful. So I would write here in her, let's see here. So she could write here, she could say, my wedding day was the most stressful day of my life because my bachelorette party lasted all night and I was not ready for the wedding. So that would be the summary of the first paragraph. And then here for the second paragraph, let's see, it's a second paragraph. I don't know where oh, here. Let me rewrite that. Was not ready for the wedding. When my bridesmaids did not show up, they looked like they were run over by a Mack truck. I started getting them ready, trying to get rid of dark circles and hangovers, but that took a lot of effort. After finishing the ladies, I felt better. And she has to avoid cliches like relief had washed over me, like no tomorrow. So we want to avoid cliches. I smiled so big until my mom came in and told me I had 20 minutes to go. I couldn't help it but cry again. So here she said that, and then you have to have, I spend a lot of time doing makeup for my bridesmaids and worried we would not be ready for the wedding in time. So that would be the summary of the second paragraph. So basically what I'm doing with the thesis statement is I'm summarizing. First I'm summarizing she went out to a bachelorette party and couldn't get rid of couldn't get ready in time. Another one is she couldn't get everybody's makeup done in time. And then the third part is, I think that's what the third one was. And then finally, so that would be the 3 reasons, okay? Therefore, luckily for me, I was able to get ready for the wedding and all went as planned. Something like that. So all I did was write down a summary of the body paragraphs. So here you have the thesis. My wedding day was the most stressful day of my life because my bachelorette party lasted all night and I was not ready for the wedding. Or you could say I was worried that I would not be ready for the wedding. Then the next body paragraph was, I spent a lot of time doing makeup for my bridesmaids and worried, once again, we would not be ready for the wedding on time. Luckily for me, I was able to get ready for the wedding. And so you can, tweak this. This is a little bit repetitious, but you get the idea. The reason why I'm showing you this is mainly I just want to show you the method. You can rewrite this so it sounds much better, but my point is when you write a thesis statement, you can actually write out the story first. And then after you write out your body paragraphs, then you can summarize the body paragraphs for your thesis statement, like I did for this person. Here I wrote the thesis statement, and then I wrote the 3 reasons after having written the body paragraphs. So that's acceptable too, okay? And then you separate the different sentences with a semicolon, 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 okay? And that way you have, this becomes, believe it or not, this is one whole sentence joined together by a semicolon. And this becomes your thesis statement. It becomes your main idea, a sentence, because it summarizes the entire content of your paper. So you're going to place this thesis statement as the last sentence of the first paragraph. And then you're going to place this same sentence as the first sentence of the last paragraph. That's the only thing that's wrong with this paper, besides a lot of grammar mistakes, but for the most part, she did a good job telling the story. But when we write the thesis statement, we have to tell the moral of the story. What's the point of telling the story? What life lessons do we learn from this story? And so that's what we put into the thesis statement. So you have to rewrite your thesis statement so that the reader has a takeaway lesson. What's the point of reading this? It's like you shouldn't worry so much. Everything's going to turn out all right. You can even make a proverb out of it, that sort of thing. So that way, so if you watch my narrative essay PowerPoint, which is on the homepage, I talk about how there are 2 kinds of narrative essays. There's the narrative essay that just tells a straight story with a moral. There's another kind of narrative story essay in which you make a claim and 3 reasons. And so this person wrote the second kind, in which she has a story with a moral. So then you would have, and you build up to the climax. The climax is usually the fourth paragraph. So you need to watch that video, that PowerPoint that I made that's on the homepage. It's called What is a Narrative Essay? So the only thing missing is she also has to indent 5 spaces. She did it here, but didn't do it over here. And avoid cliches like relief ran over me, like no tomorrow. Here, as I am rushing around to gather everyone's outfit, I realized that no one was there to help me carry everything. Here you have verb tense consistency. If the action happened in the past, then everything in this paragraph should be in the past tense. That's known as verb tense consistency. I believe we went over that during week 1 quiz. So as I was rushing to gather everyone's outfits, then past tense, I realized that no one was there to help me carry everything. And then the rest of it she did correctly because everything else is in past tense. So if everything happened in the past, then you should have all of your verbs in the past. Otherwise, minor mistakes with commas, and use a comma when and or but is between 2 sentences. And so we're going to study comma usage for the week 7 quiz. So that's going to be something we will study. So if you have any questions, this is for the student, she knows who she is, about her further questions about her paper, you can always schedule a Zoom with me. Okay, so this ends this really long lecture on somebody's rough draft. Hopefully, by watching this video, you learn to avoid any mistakes that she made.